On May the 5th, we're going to have the opportunity to vote in a referendum on whether we should adopt the alternative vote, otherwise known as AV, in parliamentary elections and scrap the existing first-past-the-post method. So how does AV work? Firstly, the similarities. Constituencies remain the same, a single geographic area represented by a single MP. The ballot paper looks the same, a list of names with the parties the candidates are affiliated to. However, instead of a single cross, the voter writes their preference for the candidates, 1, 2, 3, 4, until they have no opinion on the remaining choices. So how are the votes counted? Firstly, let's remind ourselves how the current first-past-the-post system works. Let's imagine an election with 5 candidates and 100 voters. The candidate with the most votes wins, but very often this means the majority of voters do not back the winner. With AV, the first preferences of the voters are counted. If one candidate has 50% or more, they have won. However, if no candidate achieves this target, then the candidate with least first preferences is eliminated, and the second preferences of those who voted for him, if they had second preferences, are transferred to the others. The process continues until a candidate achieves the 50% target. So why should you vote for AV? Firstly, MPs will really need your support. In last year's election, barely 1 in 3 MPs were elected with majority support. With first past the post, MPs can win with support from a few. One MP got to Parliament with only 29%. With AV, MPs need the broad goodwill of most of the voters. Second, a simple and tried system. AV is as simple as 1, 2, 3. You can rank as few, perhaps even only 1, or as many candidates as you feel are up to the job. Thirdly, the end of tactical voting. No longer do voters need to make a choice between voting with your heart or your head. Your number one vote can be your true number one. Fourthly, shutting down extremism. With first past the post, it's possible to win with a small minority of the overall vote. That's how parties like the BNP won seats in local councils. AV requires the goodwill of the majority. And finally, a real choice. Most voters have mixed feelings of partial support and opposition for most candidates. AV gives voters the chance to reflect this and will enable politicians to have a clearer view of the nation's wishes. So, on May the 5th, vote yes to AV and fairer votes.